Alrighty, well, thank you, James, and thank you, Naomi. And hard to believe that you and I were sharing diapers together like 29 years ago, 30 years ago. But hey, we did. We'll just leave it there. Look, I'll just tell my story very briefly. I have been a pastor for 35 years, and it's been the joy of my life to serve people, love people, and help people. As a consequence of that calling, I was offered an opportunity to join another company 25 years ago and to be one of the early adopters in that company. I was fortunate enough to have spent time studying a science degree, and I did some postgraduate stuff in pharmacy. So I was pretty knowledgeable when it came to molecules and science. And the company that I joined back then excited me because it had a technology that was new and unique and just made sense to me. So I reluctantly jumped on board because I'd always vowed that I would never be part of a network marketing company, and had almost banished it from church and said if anybody ever got involved with one of these things, I was going to, excommunicate them and send them to a monastery somewhere in Italy with a vow of silence and celibacy for the rest of their life. That was how negative I was. But yeah, I got involved because I realized it was going to be big with me or without me. And so for the last 25 years, I've been doing that as well as pastoring. And in fact, the income that I've been earning from that other business has afforded me and my family the opportunity to have a great lifestyle and to serve our community and not be a financial drain upon the church, and also give us a really good life. So it's been amazing until things changed. And that happened in August. And my wife and I were fasting and praying. We just felt there was change coming in our life. And during that week of fasting and praying, which is what we do, we came across, through a really unique and strange source, another molecule by the name of Adify. And having the brain that I have, which I'm a bit of a geek. I mean, if anyone knows me, they'll know that I'm a bit science geeky. So I sort of put my lab coat on and got deep into digging up about Adify and where it comes from. It comes from the hops plant and how it works and why it works and what it does. And very quickly, I began to realize that I had now seen something that I'd not seen in 25 years since I had last seen a substance and a molecule that had powerful potential. And when I first started reading about Adify, I was like, this is too good to be true. This sounds like the holy grail of fat loss, and someone's gilding the lily here. This can't be the case. So I drilled down further, and I read clinical trial papers, and I researched everything that I could find everywhere on the internet. And everywhere I looked at everything I studied about this molecule, I found out that it had some really huge health benefits with anxiety, depression, insomnia, sleep disorders, mental dysphoria, blood sugar levels, normalizing all kinds of sleep patterns and moods, and just really good stuff. And I thought, wow, that's pretty good. And it also has this incredible effect of burning fat. Well, I happen to have a bit of a problem. Fat and I have been waging war against each other for most of my life, and I win sometimes and lose some weight. And I've tried everything, and then when I go off whatever it is that I'm trying, I put the weight back on again. So I always joke and say that I can walk into a restaurant and inhale enough calories to put on like 2 kilos without eating anything. But I did recently have methylation tests done, actually, and my DNA profile, and apparently I have all the fat genes. So that's just the facts, and I could either use that as an excuse or a motivation. But anyway, so this Adify molecule, and it's branded in a company that has a little sachet like that. And you see that's called Phix. And the Adify molecule is inside this little sachet, and you crack it open into a drink in the morning and at night, twice a day, and something amazing happens. So let me describe what happens. When you go on a diet, you're generally trying to trick yourself into, or your body into, in some sort of metabolism. So whether you're going full hardcore, and you're going full paleo, carnivore, cutting out everything else, you can lose weight. When you go on the other end of the scale, where you're just going super veggie, super clean, vegan, even vegetarian. I've done that. I've been pescatarian for a few years. But anyway, so the moment you continue to do that, and I've done that, you can try shakes, you can try drops, you can count calories, you can do meal replacements, you can intermittent fasting. Yeah, pretty much all of them. I've tried all of them, and most of the time I end up putting the weight back on. But here's the thing about weight loss, and this is something that everyone needs to know. But before I tell you about that, I have, for the first time in 25 years, made a pivot to this new company that markets this particular product, called Phix, which has the molecule Adiphyte, and it's the first time in 25 years. And I have been approached by so many companies, and having a church, as James said, I'm very gracious to give people my time. They're always trying to get me into their new thing, and I'm always prepared to give them their shot. So they come and pitch to me, they tell me their company, they tell me their product, I do my science, I do my due diligence, and every single time I see another Me Too company, or I see a product that's so complicated to explain that I just don't want to be able to dedicate my time to it, and it wouldn't have fast exposure or uptake. So I've never, ever felt impressed enough to join until now. And that's why I have pivoted and added this company to my company regime, to my company portfolio. And I'm still comfortable with my other company's products, and still love and enjoy their range of products, and still promote them for the value that they bring to people's lives. But this particular molecule and this particular company has something totally unique that I've just never seen before. I made this pivot, and so I am now, as James said, I've got my hair on fire, all 37 of them. That's why I wear a hat every day, because every day for me is a bad hair day. So it's best for everybody if I just leave my hat on. But I've made the pivot, and in the last few weeks, I've been so busy, and I cannot keep pace. I've been up since 3 a.m. on the phone talking, and most nights I go to bed really late, talking to people, just catching up, and just keeping pace with the people that are coming on board. So let me come back to how the molecule works, and then I'm going to hand back to James and Naomi. When we go on a diet, as I said, we're tricking our metabolism. Every time we do that, our metabolism gets further broken. And so when we're starving it of something, it feels like it's in a time of famine, so it burns, and it indiscriminately burns whatever it can do to get energy. And it can burn all kinds of different things. It can burn muscle mass, it could be fluid, it could be water mass, it could be white fat, brown fat, visceral fat, adipose, it could be subcutaneous fat, it could be all kinds of different things, indiscriminately. But then when you go off the diet, your body then goes, oh, look, we're going into a time of feast. We better store this all back on again, because we don't know when we're going to go back into a time of famine. So you go through the yo-yo, bounce back, up, down. Everyone's had that happen to them. But this molecule works in a completely different way. And I'll make it real simple. It's complex, but I'll make it simple. I'm sure all of you have been cold enough at some point where you've shivered. And that shivering is the vagus nerve stimulating the muscles to twitch. That twitching is causing the burn of fat that is the low-hanging fruit that is within your system. And that's the visceral fat, that internal fat that is really ugly fat. It's the fat you don't want. It's the fat that gathers around your organs. And then you've got the adipose, white adipose fat, that belly fat, that butt fat, that, thigh fat. Sadly, no matter how much fat I lose, I still have my face, but I'm going to get to that when I work through the rest of my other fat deposits. But anyway, so what adipose does, the molecule, so Adiphyte does, Adiphyte follows the same path as hypothermia. So if you go into a cold ice bath, if you can tolerate that, you'll get about 2 hours of thermogenic burn. That's the body telling the fat to burn, to provide the fuel, to provide the heat, to stop the body from dying of hypothermia. And so when you take Adiphyte, it follows the same pathway. The brain doesn't cause you to shiver, and you're not shivering because you're not sensing a drop in core temperature. So you're not shivering. You don't actually feel a thing. But what it does is it triggers the bitter receptors in the stomach. The adipic hops molecule triggers the bitter receptors to create this reaction with the vagus nerve to stimulate the brown fat to then go trigger the burning of the white fat. And the brown fat's actually good fat. You sort of want that. That's what holds you together. So it's the white fat, and it's that visceral, adipose, subcutaneous fat. And that burn happens like that. And so when you go in an ice bath, you get 2 hours maximum of thermogenic burn. When you take one sachet of this and put it in a drink in the morning, I put mine in a glass of water, you get 9.5 up to 9.5 hours of the same thermogenic burn with no side effects. The only side effect that I've noticed is I've got more energy. I feel great. And people are sleeping better. They're having better mental health. They're feeling more positive. And of course, just losing fat makes you feel good. And you're getting rid of the fat that you're burning what you want to burn. You're burning the fat. You're burning the stuff that you don't want to be there. And so your body just goes into this fat burn mode. At night, you can put it into any drink. I have an example of a drink here. I'm not saying that or I recommend this, but this is something a friend of mine gave me to try. I haven't tried it. Well, hang on, it's empty. He gave me an empty one. You can even put it in there. I don't know. That sounds really weird. I don't know. The pastor talking about, hey, you can stick it in a beer. Well, apparently, it's not going to bother it. And the reason being that no matter what you put it in, no matter what drink you put it in, it's following a different pathway. So it's not diet dependent. So this molecule you can take morning and night, no matter what you eat, no matter what you drink, whether you exercise or not, because that's a diet. This is not a diet substance. This is a thermogenic, fat-burning, bitter hop molecule that works on a completely separate pathway outside of every normal dietary known pathway. That's what makes it unique. That's what makes it amazing. And that's what captured my heart and captured my attention. Meanwhile, on September 22nd, my product arrived. You won't be able to see that, but I will tell you because it's all back to front for you. I've been on the product now since September 22nd, 17 days. I measured myself yesterday. The company says success is not measured on the scales because scales is just measuring water weight and other things. It's measured in inches, or in Australia, in centimeters. In 17 days of taking this product morning and night and doing nothing else, just my normal routine, my normal lifestyle, not changing what I eat, changing what I drink, not changing my exercise, doing absolutely nothing but living my life normally, I lost a total of 38.7 centimeters. 38, that's a total of 15.23 inches from my body. And I did actually also lose 5 kilos. So I went from a size 36 tight-fitting pair of pants to a size 34 that I have to tighten up with a belt or my pants fall down around my ankles. So phenomenal result. I had a test case, and I'm closing with this. Last week, my wife and I, we had pre-booked a holiday to Brisbane and to go see the musical Wicked. And I promised it for her birthday, and I couldn't get out of it. We'd booked the hotel and booked the tickets. And it was a really bad time because I was now building actively this new business and loving it and getting great results. It went up nevertheless. So for 3 days, we broke our normal eating regime. We were up there in April. We ate a lot of things we shouldn't eat. We ate things that were fatty. We ate fish and chips. We had calamari. We had pizza. We probably had a couple of beers, and Cheryl had a few wines. And we got back after 3 nights, 4 days in Brisbane, and I'd put on 3 kilos, just over 3 kilos, and my wife had put on over 2. Hopefully there's no judgment, but if they say, like, if you're on a cruise ship, you're not putting on a kilo a day, you're not getting your money's worth, right? So we just went at it. We're on holidays. We did exactly the same thing. We said, I'm a scientist. Let's do this again. Let's follow the same routine. And we loved it last time. We went to the same pubs. We dropped into the same cafes. We went to the same coffee shops. We pretty much ate the same. We absolutely were debaucherous. We had to repent afterwards. We were driving home last Friday afternoon, and it was like, we're going to get on those scales and something bad's going to happen. The only thing we did, we took a Phix morning and night. got home that afternoon, having already had a big breakfast and a coffee on the way home and drank water, got on the scales, I'd put on 400 grams. My wife had put on 200 grams. The next morning, when we would normally weigh ourselves, we'd gone to sleep, gone to the bathroom, weighed ourselves, and both of us had lost half a kilo. I'm like, all right, I'm in. This is the best thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm now telling everybody I know because I've got absolutely nothing to lose. Success is not measured by some empirical measurement. I feel good. I think it's changed, or I'm having a negative reaction. I'm not sure whether I'm detox. All of that's out the window. That's old school. New school is add it to a drink, get the results, measure it. Your measurements will prove it to you, prove it to your friends, tell everyone you know, and make money. And so that's what I'm doing. It's the best opportunity I've ever seen in 25 years, best product I've ever seen in 25 years, hence my pivot. And James and Naomi, they know exactly what they're doing. You're in amazing hands in their team. They know this space and they will guide you and they will train you. And I can guarantee you that you are going to see results physically and financially beyond anything you've ever seen before or anything you could even imagine. So as for me, this is it. I'm in. I'm sitting on the goose that laid the golden egg, and I just would love to help some of you hatch those eggs.
Okay, here's what you do now. Step one, get back to the person who showed you or invited you to watch this video. Tell them that you want to get started, that you want to get on the program and start seeing visceral fat and all of that ugly fat start to melt away and turn your body into a fat burning machine. Step two, it's $9.95 to get a position within the company. Get started for $9.95. Number three, you then order the products you want, the amount of ones you want, whether it's one a day, two a day, you just let them know how many you want and they'll arrange for that to be sent to you. Talk to them about which pack best suits your needs. Okay, so that's all you have to do. And if you want to help other people start to lose fat, feel great, have energy, and start to live life the way they want, and you then also start to make an incredible income working for yourself, having the freedom of doing that and building your own business, then make sure you let them know that as well. We're growing fast. We want you to grow with us. You don't want to miss this. These kind of opportunities, I believe, come along once in a lifetime. Don't miss it. My name's James Hannon. Glad that you hung around. And I can't wait to see you just enjoy the journey of watching the centimeters or the inches drop off. Bye.